Hello friends and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Joy and today in this lecture we will discuss about the inevitability of coal industry in India. Now coming to the current affair, at the global level the dependency on coal is coming down. But when we take the case of India, the coal dependency on India seems to be inevitable or cannot be avoided. So considering this situation, there should be more policies and laws that will finance clean coal in the country, and also there should be technological innovations in this regard. So both technology and finance are very important in order to ensure that there is more usage of clean coal in the country. So this is the current affair, and based on this let us understand what is the inevitability of coal industry in the country. But before we begin, this is our channel StudyIQ and we are providing pen drive courses for various competitive examinations including SSC bank courses, UPSC optionals, SSC JE courses, teaching examinations, railway examinations, defense examinations, RBI grade B, NABARD grade A examination, UGC NET, UPSC Civil Services Examination, for CLAT exams, for various state PSCs, and also for various professional courses. You can visit our website www.studyiq.com for more details, or you can call to any of these numbers for more information. So let us begin. Let us first understand what is the status of coal usage or coal industries across the globe. So at the global level or at the international level, we will see that there is an international consensus, or there is a trend that developed countries are withdrawing from financing coal industries. So they are not promoting the coal industries. So there is a withdrawal of financial capital to the coal industries at a global level, especially among the developed countries in the world. And also large sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, multinational agencies like the World Bank, IMF, other multilateral institutions, etc. have already announced their exit from coal financing. That means financing the coal industries across the world. And also across the world we will see that there is increasing regulatory cost also with regard to coal industries. So all these aims at reducing the coal-based power generation in the world, and it aims at bringing or encouraging cleaner alternatives in place of coal. So the objective is to discourage coal-based power generation and to encourage cleaner alternatives instead of coal. So generally among the developed countries in the world, we will see that there is discouragement of coal usage or de-promotion of coal industries, both in terms of availability of finance and also in terms of regulatory norms. And in this context, since 2010 or from 2010s, the coal expansion has taken place in the Asia region. That means the countries in the Asia region have expanded or increased the usage of coal from 2010. Now, in the developing countries or in the Western countries, there is a declining trend with regard to the usage of coal. But coming to Asia or the developing countries, the usage of coal has been expanding since 2010. And within Asia region itself, India and China are two particular countries which has expanded the usage of coal since 2010. Now let us understand the reasons behind the expansion. So as we already mentioned, the Asian countries, especially India and China, are expanding the usage of coal. So this is despite the fact that the cost of renewable energy or the renewable alternatives are coming down. So even though the cost of renewables are coming down, the usage of coal among the Asian countries has been expanding. For instance, some countries that have reduced coal-based generation, for example Australia, they have reduced their coal usage. But these countries like Australia, they continue to heavily export coal or coal generation power equipment. So even though they have reduced the coal consumption in their own country, the export of coal from these countries continues to expand or increase. Another example is China. The export of coal generation power equipment or machinery from China is also rising. And the primary reason for this is that the coal-based power generation is not a singular industry. It means it is a network of industries. So this network includes upstream miners, machine manufacturers, transporters, engineering consultants, plant operators, and also consuming utilities. So we can say that this is a chain of industries or a network of industries. So these industries, that is the network of industries, they create a lot of employment opportunities. So they collectively employ many people, and they are also a part of the ecosystem which has been running smoothly for decades. So from the point of view of employment generation, these network of industries are very significant. Now let us understand what are the concerns associated with the operation of coal plants in India. So the first one is the regulatory issues. So we will see that the regulations in the coal plants are increasing every year or with every policy change, particularly around fly ash disposal, stack emissions, effluent wastewater treatment. So all these have undergone stricter regulations in the last few years. So with the stricter regulations, these coal plants or the industrialists have to comply with these regulations. So this has led to an increase in the cost. This cost is with regard to both operations and maintenance of the coal plants. So the O&M or the operation and maintenance cost of the coal plants have increased with the stricter regulations that the government has put in place. So with this, the operation and the maintenance cost of this coal plants have gone up. And even though on one side there is an increase in the operation and maintenance cost of this coal plants, the power regulators are not regularly updating the prices. So cost of production increases on one side, but the power prices or the power tariffs are not increasing, or they are not regulated regularly. So what happens? This creates a liquidity issue or liquidity trap. The producers of coal are not able to meet this increasing O&M or the operating and maintenance cost because the power tariffs are very low and they are not regulated or they are not updated with an increase in the O&M cost of the coal production. Now, another concern here is the availability of incentives. So, if we take the availability of incentives to this coal producers, the government provides very less incentives in order to continue the production. So, on one hand, they have to comply with all these stricter regulations. Second issue is that the power tariffs are not updated properly, and this affects the profit margin of the producers. And thirdly, the government is not providing any type of incentives in order to compensate the loss by these producers. So all this will together lead to a short-term liquidity crisis in the coal producing units. Another concern here is the large-scale debt financing. In most of the cases in India, the power generation is backed up by state financing. So it means that the coal power plants in India are constructed through massive debt financing from either state-owned banks or state resources. So whether the promoter is a state-owned company or a private company, the financing is mainly done by state-owned banks. So here there is an absence of international investment in coal generation in India. So these are all some of the concerns associated with coal production in India. Now coming to way ahead or what India has to do. So we have seen that in majority of the cases the financing is done by state-owned banks, and in many cases a large number of power generators have been classified as non-performing. So this shows there is a inadequacy of capital for the power generators in India, and there is also an absence of international investments. So this inadequacy or absence of adequate capital for the power generators needs to be resolved, and for that creative and targeted financing proposals should be brought to India in order to address the issue in the power sector. So financial proposals or making adequate availability of capital to the coal sector in India is very important. And in this regard, multilateral infrastructure investment banks should be involved to finance technologies and more emphasis must be given on clean coal technology. And this should be accompanied by public reporting of the stark emissions from benefiting plants, and also various other steps like better material management, managing coal dust, stark emissions, and ensuring that the plant effluents do not mix with the local water supplies, etc. are needed. So other steps which will ensure that the production of coal does not harm the environment or the ecology should also be ensured. So we have already seen that there is an inevitable need or dependency on coal sector in India, and there are potential gains also if we implement clean coal technology. So considering this, clean coal production must be given an emphasis in the country, which will lead to production of coal without harming the environment. And you can find the PDF of this lecture on my Facebook page, and for any queries regarding your UPSC preparations, you can get in touch with me on my Facebook page, or you can email me at joyce.studyiq@gmail.com. Thank you.